So this is something that I don't know if I should admit to on this video, but it was inspired by Richard Holliday's promo, and that is that my dad, and granted I'm not a football fan, look at me, I'm not a football fan, my dad is a Sunderland fan. I don't know if he knows I do these videos. I don't know if I'm going to be like excommunicated from the family for reviewing shows based in Newcastle. So hopefully he never sees this. But yeah, I don't know what that makes me. And I hope that this all works out well. And if this is the last North review you see, you know why. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about North Wrestling NCL 52, the NCL Cup 2025. That's right, we're talking about one of the biggest tournaments in British wrestling. You've got Super Strong Style 16 and you've got the NCL Cup, which has been established over these past 2 years with winners like Rhio and Myles Kayman, and now we have the 2025 edition, a stacked lineup with Millie McKenzie, Benji, Big Damo, Richard Holliday, and more that we will get into in just a little moment, and two blockbuster matches, a tag team grudge match between the Slaters and Emersyn, Jane and G Munny, and one called Manders and Shire looking to take those North tag team titles from Will Kroos and Rampage Brown. And yeah, this is my first NCL Cup that I have ever watched. I was planning on watching the 2024 one beforehand, but I never got around to doing it, so this is my first introduction to it. And what did I think of the tournament overall? I think it was really fun. This was a really fun tournament. It had some wackiness, it had some finishes that I don't necessarily love, but overall I think it was a really solid tournament. I think the two tag team matches as well were stellar. So yeah, overall I'd say this was a really fun, action-packed 3 hours with twists and turns that you probably weren't going to see coming. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below as we dive into the whole show, starting with great opening package and Tom Campbell on announcing duties, pulling double duty, being on the commentary team as well with Dave Bradshaw. They were really good on commentary, a great commentary duo, and he explained the rules. NCL Cup rules have very interesting stipulations to them. That is that there is a 5 count rather than a 10 count on the outside, and as you hit the 10-minute mark, there are no rope breaks. So there is no escaping if someone's got you locked in a hold. If you put your foot on the rope after the 10 minutes, it is done. I think that's a really cool way of approaching it. It sort of streamlines the tournament a little bit. You can get quicker finishes that way. I think it was nice. It was a nice way to differentiate the tournament from other wrestling tournaments that we see. And I was a big fan of the rule change, and we got the first match. The first match was the wild card Amir Jordan taking on Big Damo. Now this was really cool. I really like seeing Amir Jordan. I haven't seen Amir Jordan in ages, like literally ages. I can't remember the last time I saw Amir Jordan wrestle, and this was a really strong match to tell because it was big guy versus small guy, speed versus strength, and they went hell to leather on each other. It started off with Big Damo, using the power advantage, getting chopped, no selling it. He's Big Damo, of course. He's an absolute monster, and sort of cutting off any offense that Amir Jordan would get in. As soon as Amir Jordan would get any offense, like he went to hit a big springboard, he was immediately caught by the divide by Damo, just cut him in half. It was absolutely brutal, and ultimately, it was Damo who got the win here, which I think was the right decision. He managed to hit the big Vader bomb on Amir Jordan after Amir Jordan had put up a pretty good fight, but he's going up against a ruthless man in Big Damo. And yeah, Big Damo picks up the win and advances with his Vader bomb. This was a really fun opening match. I think it was the right decision for Damo to win, going from where we go from here. And it was nice to see Amir Jordan back. It was really cool. I think it'd been over a year. I think they said on commentary that he'd not wrestled due to injury, I do believe. Injury and I believe like mental health issues as well. So I hope all that's good with Amir Jordan. So yeah, this was really, really fun. Cool opening match, and it set the tournament off to a cool start. Then we got another first round match in the tournament, and that was Henry Faust taking on Richard Holiday. Now, this might be one of the controversial finishes. I, however, loved this and thought it was hilarious. So, what happened was, Henry Faust comes out, looks like a badass, as per, and then Richard Holiday comes down. And Richard Holiday, I saw him at For the Love of Progress. He's a really good promo. And he cut a really good promo on the North Faithful, talking about how people from Newcastle are stupid, how they like a shit football team, like Sunderland's better, but we'll move past that. And yeah, they have a quick exchange here. It starts off with a really cool sort of flurry of moves. Richard Holiday's kind of using the IQ. He's sort of dodging all the moves that Henry Faust puts in, like, and then Zaguri, and sort of getting the upper hand that way. But then Henry Faust gets the advantage, and Richard Holiday rolls out of the ring. And Henry Faust sort of goes after him. Henry realises that it's a 5 count and rolls back in. And as Richard Holiday is sort of meandering on the outside, he just gets counted out. The 5 count elapses. He's shocked. He's confused. And it's a win for Henry Faust. He advances because Richard Holiday wasn't listening in the production meeting. I thought it was really funny. It was not the outcome that I expected in the slightest. And to see him get his comeuppance after calling everyone stupid, and then turns out he's the one who's stupid because he wasn't listening and gets counted out, I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a really funny way to end the match. I hope Richard Holiday comes back and they can play up this again if he's in the NCL Cup next year. I think that'd be really fun. Like, he goes to get counted out and he's like, nah, you see, I'm smarter than that. I think that'd be fun. I would have liked to have seen, we'll talk about the post-match after, maybe Henry Faust, maybe this go a little bit longer, Henry Faust get a little bit more in, but what it was there for is the post-match angle, which is Henry Faust gets beaten up, Richard Holiday comes in and starts wailing on him, destroying him, hits his big sort of suplex net breaker on him, and yeah, leaves Henry laying, goes to the back. That sets up Henry Faust as the underdog going into the next few matches, in which he's facing, I believe, Millie McKenzie. We'll get to that in just a little bit. His next match was with Millie McKenzie, and it sets him up as the underdog in that way. I like that. He's a great fighting underdog, and yeah, we'll see how this plays out, shall we? Then we got the announcement of Project North being announced for Leeds. That's quite exciting for me. That's one I might be able to go to, so I'm excited to check that out. And then we got Millie McKenzie versus Benji in a first round match. Now again, this was another match with shenanigans. Shenanigans aplenty. So Millie McKenzie's in the ring, Benji comes out and he's dressed as Super Benji. Now I'm not going to say that I'm up on North Wrestling lore or anything like that, but I didn't quite understand, but that's fine, because they put it over well on commentary that this was not landed gentry Benji. This was, previous Benji, and he's coming out here, he's ready to fight, he's ready to go one-on-one with Millie McKenzie. But then Zio Knox comes down and he cuts an impassioned promo on Benji. Like, why are you doing this? These people don't like you. You're part of the landed gentry. And he destroys Benji. Hits him with the mallet. And yeah, essentially he cannot compete. Benji cannot compete in this match in the NCL Cup. So what happens now? There's 2 people in the ring. There's a Zio Knox there. There's a Millie McKenzie there. Millie McKenzie just grabs him. German suplex, German suplex, German suplex. And they have a bit of a flurry. But ultimately it's a spear from Millie McKenzie in very quick fashion that takes out Zio Knox, and Millie McKenzie advances. I thought this was a really solid angle. I wonder if we're going to get a sort of a huge blood feud out of this, if this was the actual split of the landed gentry, or whether Xeonox is going to pull some shenanigans, maybe sort of gaslight Benji a little bit into getting him under his wing, kind of like how I feel Leon Slater and Liam Slater are right now. Maybe do that, or we're going to get a big payoff. Xeonox is going to get a big match, and then Benji returns, and we get like a huge brawl. He costs him a title shot, something like that. And we could pay off this blood feud, the split of the landed gentry. It was really well done. It was really fun. I know people probably wanted to see Millie McKenzie versus Benji sort of have a little bit longer or actually get in the match, but I thought what we got, it was really effective. Then in the last first round match, of the tournament, Kemper took on Igor Blanc. I love Igor Blanc. He's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And here we had a classic match of High Flyer versus Big Man, because everything that Igor Blanc would do sort of staggered Kemper. He was staggering around from the springboard knees, but he's massive, and him being massive, he would just shut down everything that Igor Blanc would do. It was kind of similar to the Big Damo Amir Jordan match, but this was more like actual, not that Amir Jordan's not a high flyer, but this was very much a cruiserweight going up against a huge big man. It was like Great Khali versus Rey Mysterio kind of thing. And I thought they did some really cool stuff here. I really like the arrogance that Kemper was showing, like particularly in all his matches really, but in this one, he was getting cocky. He was getting a little bit too sort of overindulgent in what he was doing, showing off to the crowd, and that gave Igor Blanc some cool sort of comeback spots, but he just kept getting caught by Kemper, and Kemper hit a sick looking F5 on him and a choke slam to put him away. It was a really strong showing from Kemper. I really liked this tournament, but we'll talk about the winner in a bit. But I really like what it did for Kemper. It did make Kemper look like a monster and a beast, but kind of like a fallible beast. You can beat him. There are ways to beat him. You get him staggering, you get him stumbling on the ropes. Like, it wasn't straight squashes, but he did look like a monster coming out of most of his performances here. And I really liked that. And yeah, Kemper was the right decision to win. Like, hands down. Then Tom Campbell is about to introduce the tag match, but he's interrupted by a Lou Nixon, who lays out a challenge for Ace Matthews for the Ultraviolet Championship. That will be at the next North show. I believe it's called Anarchy. If I'm getting that wrong, then it'll be above my face. So there you have it. We have another North show announced. I think it's April 4th. That'll be really fun. And then we have the tag team match. We have Thomas Shire and one called Manders taking on Will Kroos and Rampage Brown for the North Wrestling Tag Team Championships. Now, this match, I have a very specific feeling about this match. I loved this match. It wasn't the cleanest match ever, wasn't the crispest match ever, but I loved it, because if you take a snapshot of this, put like a grainy filter over it, this would look like it was straight out of like Mid-South wrestling. Yeah, Mid-South wrestling from like the 80s. These four massive dudes with mullets just wrecking shop. It was like an old territory style match where they're brawling on the outside, they're brawling in the bar. It was so fun. It was so unbelievably fun. Yes, some of the stuff botched a little bit. Yes, some of the stuff didn't look as clean as maybe you'd want a professional wrestling match in 2025 to look. But as a throwback match, I loved this. This was so goddamn cool. And Will Kroos is just like my MVP right now, because he's so quick. He's so powerful. Everything he does looks cool. Like when he was in the early stages of the match, when he was beating up Thomas Shire, he was just so unbelievably fast. And Thomas Shire, that was my favourite part of this. Like Thomas Shire and Will Kroos, those two together, that was my favourite part of this match, because that did look like, stick a black and white filter over it, you're looking at wrestling history. It looked so cool. And then they go to the bar, they're brawling all the way around. The ref is like, I'm going to let them brawl. This is King Kong versus Godzilla versus Pacific Rim versus, think of another big kaiju, King Ghidorah. Just brawling all around. Leeway with the counts. That was fine with me. They share a drink. You get a brief glimpse of Jack the Jobber from Cultaholic there. And they share a drink, start beating each other up again, get back into the ring. It was so cool. And then you get the tag team action where they're hitting big moves, the ring's shaking, Will Kroos gets superplexed by one called Manders, and everything's just going off. It was insanity, absolute insanity. And then a doomsday device on one called Manders, and the entire earth shook. Not just the ring, I think the entire earth shook at that point. Following the doomsday device, which is a great near fall because it's broken up by Thomas Shire, you have a Rikishi driver, an assisted Rikishi driver kind of, for the 1-2-3, and Will Kroos gets the pin. Like I said, this match was sensational. This was sensational. This was a throwback. This was everything I wanted it to be. Hoss fight, messy, gnarly. It was really, really cool, and I hope they get to run it back. I'd love to see this have like a Falls Count Anywhere stip or something like that attached to it, because, yeah, this might have been my match of the night. I loved it. I thought it was so unbelievably fun. Then we went to the intermission, and then we got Henry Faust versus Millie McKenzie in the semi-final. Henry Faust going in injured after getting beaten up by Richard Holiday earlier. Millie McKenzie relatively fresh after a quick victory over Zio Knox. And yeah, this was really good. This was a fast-paced match. They had great chemistry. They were hitting each other really hard. Like, Millie McKenzie is so unbelievably good. And I think Henry Faust as well, just their chemistry was really well put together in this match. Like, the moves look crisp, the strikes look cool, everything was really well done. And this did not go the way I expected it to. It ended very suddenly, and I like that. I like that the finishes in the NCL Cup can come very quickly and can come unexpectedly, because we're used to the paces of wrestling matches, and I think the NCL Cup being different and sort of having not necessarily quicker matches but more shock finishes was really cool, because you had this really cool sequence where ultimately Henry Faust rolls up Millie McKenzie and then just pulls back as hard as he can. So he's rolled up really, really tight and gets a 1-2-3, a really shock win. Millie McKenzie sold it really well. She just stormed straight to the back, sort of like, I don't understand how this happened. And Henry Faust also sold the shock as well. He was like, I don't know how I've done that. And yeah, it was a really cool upset, and I appreciated the shock value of it. I'd like to see Millie McKenzie. Millie McKenzie was my pick to win, just because I think Millie McKenzie's great. But yeah, I think the underdog story of Henry Faust, particularly how it played out in the main event, really well done and really cool. I think we're going to get a great story for Henry Faust in these NCL Cups. And yeah, this was a really solid match. There's not much more to say about it. It was a really solid outing for both wrestlers. Then we got more Hoss versus Hoss action as Kemper took on Big Damo. This was Hoss versus Hoss. This was meat versus meat. This was good. This was really good. I really liked this because it didn't have the sort of explosiveness of the tag match, but it was definitely a King Kong versus Godzilla kind of thing where they were just hitting each other really hard, staggering. It was really well done, and Damo hitting his big moves, hitting the divide, hitting the Vader Bomb senton combo for a great near fall on Kemper. Commentary put over really well. That was the move he used to win his previous match, so what does he do now? What else has he got in the arsenal? And he didn't really have much else in the arsenal. There was a really cool spot where Kemper tries to chokeslam Big Damo, and Big Damo sort of powers it out. He uses all that power, that Godzilla-esque power, to power him out. But Kemper picks up the win again with another choke slam, really putting over the strength of that move. Yeah, this was really good, really well executed. Kemper versus Henry Faust set for the finals. Next up, we got our big tag team grudge match as Leon Slater and Liam Slater took on Emersyn Jane and Gene Munny. This was hot from the outset because Gene Munny, when he makes his entrance, when both guys are in the ring, he just starts wailing on both of them, brawling. Awesome. And yeah, this was great. This was great. Look at the people who are in the ring. Of course this is going to be great. And it was great because everyone's great. I really liked some of the stuff in this match. You had Emersyn Jane getting worked over for a section, making hot tag to Gene, and it was played off like that, like Liam Slater was sort of just, he was the difference maker for a lot of this match. He was the one who was pulling all the shots that he'd done in the singles matches that Leon Slater's had with Gene and Emersyn. Like pushing her when she's on the top rope. But that was ultimately the undoing because he got overwhelmed at the end. And I liked that. I like that they're playing off the different matches that these guys have had. You had some really cool spots in here. One of my favourites was when Gene goes for his springboard headbutt and gets caught into a stunner by Liam Slater. That was really cool. Emersyn Jane taking out Leon Slater, who's on the outside, with a huge flip dive. She's so good. Yeah, that was class. And yeah, it was sort of about isolating Liam Slater in the end, and Liam Slater's vindictiveness and need to cheat getting the better of him, because he low blows, after that dive, he low blows Gene Munny. And the ref's distracted by what's going on outside. He goes to get the belt, and it looks like he's going to use the belt, but Kid Lycos 2 comes down. Kid Lycos 2 takes the belt away from Liam and gets hit with an Ainsley Lariat, and they pick up the win. I thought it was really good. It was really good. I hope it builds a Kid Lycos 2 versus Leon Slater for the North title. That seems like a good program to move forward with. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. This was a really good tag match. It wasn't as good as the singles matches that Leon Slater has had with Emersyn Jane and Gene Munny. But I thought, as progressing the story and progressing the character dynamics of Liam and Leon, I think it can lead to some really cool things. I hope this isn't the end of Gene Munny and Emersyn Jane in the title picture. I hope this isn't a blow off. Maybe a triple threat. Gene versus Emersyn versus Leon. That sounds really cool, because you could get both of them ganging up, then ultimately having to go for each other. I think that would be a really nice way to do it. Yeah, the solid tag match. Really solid tag match. And yeah, damn fun. Then we got the main event. We got the NCL Cup final as Kemper took on Henry Faust. Now, I've said this a lot, but it was a big man versus a kind of small man. It was power versus strikes. And I liked that. I liked the way this played out. Kemper we've established in the previous matches that he is a big powerhouse who is hard to get on the floor. And Henry Faust sort of using kicks, using strikes to try and take him down. It was an interesting approach that was different to the other two that he'd faced. He'd faced a high flyer, he'd faced a big man, and now Kemper's facing a striker. It was nice seeing him in those dynamics, and I appreciated how this was done, because you've got Kemper, he's not necessarily fresh, but he is a bit beaten down as well, going up against Henry, who's a little bit battered. He got the beat down at the beginning. He didn't have a necessarily easy win over Millie McKenzie. So playing up that, I really liked. Everything that Henry Faust would go for was ultimately countered by Kemper. He locked in a big submission that was powered out and hit a huge powerbomb. You had a really cool spot where he goes to roll up Kemper, and Kemper sort of has him in the small package and powers him up out of the small package. I thought that looked really awesome. And then, as the chokeslam has been set up as a powerful move in the previous matches, he hits the chokeslam on Henry Faust, and Henry Faust kicks out. Really well done. They've set up that move as deadly powerful, and it made Henry Faust look great. But I want to talk about the last ride, because it was a gnarly looking last ride. Kemper powers up Henry and whacks him with a last ride. A last ride pretty much from the ceiling. And that's the 1, 2, 3. Kemper wins the NCL Cup. I think this is the right decision. I don't think it was the right time for Henry Faust to win. I think there's a really good story to tell of him ultimately winning an NCL Cup down the line. I think that's awesome. Kemper winning, I'm here for, particularly with what came after, because I didn't talk about this earlier, but Myles Kayman was on commentary for the majority of, I think, the first 2 of Kemper's matches, and he was really good on commentary. Myles Kayman's really good on commentary. He had a great dynamic with Dave Bradshaw as well. And he comes out as Kemper celebrating as he's got the cup. Kemper's cutting a promo saying about how he's got his eyes on Leon, and Myles snatches the mic and says, yeah, we're going to cash this in on the tag team titles. Sort of Kemper looking a bit sort of, you what, mate? Really? And that's how we round off the show. The sort of uneasy tension between Myles Kayman and Kemper. I thought it was really cool. It was really nice direction to take. I don't think I expected it to go that way. And the swerve was really nice. I think it'll be a great tag team match as well. You know, Will Kroos and Rampage Brown versus Kemper and Myles Kayman. That'll be great. So, yeah, it rounded off a show that I thought was generally really good. Like, I'd say this was a solid show. After the North shows that I've seen, it is probably least good, because it is still good. But I really like the storytelling aspect of this show. I liked a lot of the match finishes that may be deemed controversial potentially, and yeah, I can't wait to see where we go from here. There's a lot of great storytelling opportunities. Who's next for Leon, and what's going to happen with the tag titles as well. It's going to be interesting. Overall, I give this show probably like 3.75 out of 5. I think that's solid. I think that's really good. It was really good, and I'm excited to see these next few shows down the line. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you a fan? Were you not? Were you there? Let me know, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.